All right, y'all, we are going to go ahead and jump in and get started. Thanks for being here with me today. And I've got a lot of my digital learning specialists on with us as well. So first and foremost, before we jump in and get started, I want to say that as with anything else, highly encourage you to please have your DLS come and do these things with you. We would love to do that and help you jump in and get started. Just want to confirm everybody is able to hear me well. Perfect. Okay. All right, so we will jump in. Like I said, there's a bit.ly on the screen, and that will also be shared with you in a follow-up email after the end of this presentation. So we're going to talk a little bit about curriculum connections, so specifically focused on not just using VEX and using BBOTs, but using them in connection with the curriculum that you guys are already teaching in the classroom, and just adding a next level of engagement for students with that curriculum. Great. I'm Marilyn Pawesky. That's me. I'm a digital learning specialist here in the district, and I work with Freeman and La Vida and Bush Middle School, and I also help with coding and CTE support. And I've got Lori here with me that helped me with building the presentation, and she supports Country Place and Good, Rainwater, and Rosemead. So she is here with me supporting as well. All right, so first and foremost, unless you are our exception to the rule and you're at La Vida, this is what should be on your campus. La Vida is our exception because they are a coding academy, and so they have a lot of these things already individualized in their classrooms. But if you are at any other elementary campus, these are the things that should be in your library already and available to you. A lot of times people coming from other districts or even people that have been here for a long time think, oh, like every district has all of these resources or has tons and tons of coding stuff. And we are super spoiled to have this level of robotics and coding materials and kits available to us. So in your library, you've got BBOTs, which are a small programmable robot, which are a small programmable robot. You've got a rolling cart with 12 mats. Ideally, you wouldn't have more than maybe 3 or 4 kids per mat. So just thinking about from a numbers perspective, grouping them to be in small groups on the mats. You've also got 2 boxes of BBOTs with 6 BBOTs per hive. So that hive is the picture over on the left-hand side. And then some coding cards, which basically allow them to lay out their thoughts and think through the process of how they're going to code the robot, as well as job lanyards. These are great for just kind of keeping kids on track for what's my job, because everybody wants to put their hands on the robot, obviously. You've also got VEX robotics on all elementary campuses. So in the library, you've got 25 construction kits total. So each kit is actually 2 boxes, and it's 1 set of 10 that are currently built out as code bases, which is the robot on the far left-hand side, or sorry, far right-hand side at the bottom. Those are code bases, and DLSs came around and built those out for you guys. And those are available charging or ready to be charged in the library. And then an additional set of 15 kits for kiddos. You've got 2 full fields, each tile's 9 by 9, and they can be individually arranged or arranged a wide variety of different ways. And again, these are in the library, so you would want to go check in with your librarian to find out where they are. If you or your librarian cannot find them, please reach out to me or reach out to Carrie Gooch, who is our coordinator of K-12 coding here in the district. All right, potential roadblocks. As the freshest DLS in the group, so I was in a classroom literally last year, and so I know there are plenty of roadblocks that make it so that we feel uncomfortable or nervous or shy about getting started with robotics or things that are outside of our day-to-day bread and butter curriculum. So one potential roadblock, it's my turn. All kids want to turn on the robot. All kids want to have the opportunity to fully participate. So some suggestions with that, making the activity a rotation or like a mini lesson or whole group. So basically only having one kit or one mat where it's like, all right, I'm going to model, or I'm going to be in charge of kind of just this one space to avoid having lots and lots of chaos happening all over the place. Using the different job cards, so having it be specific jobs, to either be the person that presses the buttons, or be the person that lays out the cards, or be the person that debugs and figures out what's wrong. And then working with your grade level, it may be something where the entire grade level decides to go out in the hallway, or go out in a flex space, or go out together to be able to manage the different groups and come together for that. Additionally, don't add to your plate. It is so full. It is so overwhelmed. Replace something that you're already doing. Replace a formative grade, or replace a project, or replace an activity that you already have lined up. Substitute that regular curriculum content with activities that match, either with VEX or BBOTs. I'm going to show you here in just a second. We have a ton of things that are already pre-made, and we're also going to look at how you can make some on your own. Have kids make materials. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and redesign something entirely on your own, have kids make stuff. It's more meaningful for them to create the cards, to create the different materials, so that they can be involved in that process. And a lot of these products can be graded, whether it's a seesaw activity, or if they create a presentation, or again, if they create the cards themselves. A lot of those products can be graded either as a formative grade, or if it's something cumulative at the end of your unit, you could certainly grade that as a summative grade as well. All right, tips for success. Highly, highly, highly recommend checking out either the BBOTs or the VEX. Both of them, I would check them out at least a day ahead of time. Anything with batteries needs to charge. We know that for our phones. We know that for our headphones. We know that for our computers. Anything with a battery needs to charge, and that does include both the VEX and the BBOTs. Make sure to actually charge them. Highly encouraged to do that overnight. And then collaborate. BBOTs and VEX are meant to be used in groups. So for example, the VEX kits, the 2 boxes, are meant for 2 students. And then 1 BBOT and a mat is meant for 3 to 4 students. But again, collaborating with your grade level as well, so that you guys can get together and talk about what works best. Don't do it on an island. It's so stressful to do all of those things on an island. Try to coordinate with your team members and see if there's a ELA project that can be tied into social studies, or a science project that can be tied into social studies, so that you're trying to knock out a couple of things with just one activity. All right, so these are BBOTs. BBOTs are the little robot up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. They are super fun. They light up. They are initially kind of designed more for like pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, but they can be used all the way up through high schoolers. We've had high schoolers use them. If you're looking for something that is like easy, entry level, there's not a whole bunch of buttons, there's not a whole bunch of prep, there's not a whole bunch of things that go into this. I don't have to feel like an expert. It is forward, back, left, and right, go. So they are really, really, really simple to work with. Some tips over on the left-hand side. Again, these are kind of those get started tips. As with anything else, I would highly recommend that you ask your DLS to come in and do it with you the first time. If nothing else, just to have another adult in the room that's used them before, that can help run the different stations, that can help you if a kid gets lost, or help troubleshoot if you're not sure what to do in the next part. I'm going to go ahead and click on this link here. So elementary BBOT integration lessons. Hopefully it will open for me, and hopefully you are seeing what I am seeing. But this is just a massive, massive spreadsheet with tons and tons of already designed lessons, things that have already been made for you, things that are available and organized by grade level, by topic, by subject. So over on the right-hand side, so there's a list of a whole bunch of holiday activities. If you've got something where it's like, man, I've got Friday, November 20th that I'm not really feeling like doing, or 22nd, whatever that is, that I'm not really feeling like spending a whole bunch of time digging into new content. Those are available to you if you're looking at, again, second grade. let's say that I am in Unit 4, Patterns of Motion, and I click into that lesson. So you're going to see on the first page kind of a generalized, okay, how do I actually, sorry, that is tiny and I am old. There we go. So how do I actually use the BBots, program the BBot to find something that spins, find something that rolls? And then when I scroll down, these are the cards that actually go under the big mats that you saw earlier in the presentation. So you'll print these off. If you don't have access to a color printer, your DLS does. We'll happily print things for you. Like, we're happy to accommodate and support and do any part that helps you to be able to make this happen in your classroom. But again, those are organized by grade level, and then by topic, and then by unit. So we know that sometimes things shift around a little bit. So if you're struggling to find a lesson or you want something planned, I'll show you in just a second how you might do that. Or again, you can always reach out to your DLS for that. So kindergarten, again, making friends with letters, second grade, place value, fourth grade, Texas map, fifth grade, solving perimeter. So lots and lots of options there. There's some resources here on the right-hand side, introduction lesson for teachers. I'm going to click into this slide deck just so you see it, and it looks really similar across the different platforms. But this is a slide deck that's available to show students. So again, if you're anxious about leading this for the first time and not feeling like an expert, this is something that the slides are already done, already made for you. Put it up on the screen and just kind of walk them through. We're going to do this and then this. It gives them some different vocabulary. It shows them the way that you can. The Program Your Teacher activity is very fun. Even the middle schoolers enjoyed watching me walk into a wall when they walked me too far. So this one's a good one to kind of get kids thinking about what types of directions you would need to give a robot to get it to do what you're wanting it to do. And then I just linked the list of different DLSs at different campuses. So if you're not sure who your DLS is, there's a list of those here as well. Any questions so far on BBots? I know we're kind of just running through a lot of information, but any questions about those? Great, we'll keep going. Okay, VEX. So I always like to introduce VEX as, so Legos are a toy company that decided to go into education to make some extra money. VEX is an education company that intentionally built these kits for education. So they link together really easily. They've got a really fabulous tool, pin tool that helps you to be able to take them back apart. They're intentionally connected with content. They were built with content, with teachers, with education in mind. Some tips, again, over on the left-hand side, I would highly recommend like reviewing kind of some of the parts and pieces. I would tell you to start with what's called a free build, which means it doesn't have like those step-by-step directions. It's something like build the tallest tower, or build a shape that stands up, or build something that's at least 1 foot by 2 foot and turn. So choosing something where they can get familiar with the different parts that are available in the kits. We do have, and this was not made by us, but it is available, this cumulative pacing guide. Is essentially something that VEX put together. And again, it lists the subject, the secondary subject, what type of build it has, what's the description, is it coding, is it not coding, what's the level that somebody would need in order to do this activity. So I think I've got mostly lower grade levels, maybe a couple of fourth grade on this call, but this one, fun with formations, I'll highlight it. So this is one that VEX actually made by request. So we intentionally requested like, hey, fun or formations doesn't have a lot of engaging activities. We would love to do one. Can you design one? And they did. They wrote this whole lesson because we requested it. And it came with the directions and the resources. And then I took that to the next level in my classroom. So they built the Fun with Formations activity. And then this is what I was talking about with you can grade something with it. It can be a graded activity. I had them make a presentation with it. So they had to take a picture of what they built. You could also do this in Seesaw. We did it through Google Drive or through Google Slides. You could do it with Adobe. You could do it with Canva. They took a picture of what they made and then they told me about it. So how was it formed? How did they make it? What are the different features of that thing that they built that lets me know that they have the science understanding behind what they actually made? So it's not just, hey, this is fun and we're building. It is fun and we are building, and every kid in the classroom is going to have their hands on those different materials. But even beyond that, now we're connecting it back to, do you actually know how that canyon got formed? Do you know why it's a V shape versus a U shape? Do you know what, whether it was wind, water, or ice, or some combination? So asking them those questions related to content to continue to support what they're understanding there. And then again, over on the right side, lots and lots and lots of resources. That's why I said earlier, like, this is a very clickable presentation. There are so many things that we've built out that we would love to continue to build out to make sure that you guys have the things in your hands that you need. So like the student slide deck, what are VEX Go builds? And again, it walks them through, this is what the kits look like. This is how we're going to get started. This is the poster. This is the ruler. So looking at different sizes. How do we get started? Talking to your neighbor. So a lot of those processes where, again, you're anxious because it's like, I don't know, I've never used these before. We would love to offer you different resources and share with you those resources to be able to help you use those in the classroom. And again, just want to emphasize, do not add this to your plate. Substitute out something else, some other formative assessment that, you know, maybe wasn't as engaging or didn't work as well, or you taught it last year, but it wasn't really very fun, or the kids didn't enjoy it. Substitute something else out. Let us help you find something, or look through the lessons to find something that works for what you're doing in the classroom already. And then with coding, so again, those VEX Go base bots are already built in your library. And so those are already there and available and ready to go for you. We built out the ones that are easier to charge. So if you've ever made those before, we've modified those a little bit, but made them a little bit easier to charge. And they can do a lot of the same things that B-bots can do, but taking it to the next level. So maybe I've got, maybe I've got a B-bots lesson where the cards are already made and I really like that, but I want to challenge my kiddos a little bit. I want to add some additional kind of next step thinking. So drive forward for a certain amount, turn right, turn left. Maybe I'm asking them to measure those distances and plan out that mapping. So I'm adding in some additional math components. I'm collaborating with my teammates so that it's not me siloed trying to do this all by myself. I'm working with my teammates to say, hey, how could we work together or pull together at this time to be able to do this activity that supports them? Again, there's some tips on the left-hand side if it's not working, if it's not going, if it's not doing what you want it to do. There's an additional student slide deck here. So coding with VEX Go, just walking through the steps. You need to do this and then do this to walk students through like how to get it connected and how to get started. Any questions about VEX so far? Or BBOTs, if I missed you? Cool, we will keep on going. All right, AI, it's the buzzword of our generation. I love it. So AI is something that comes up all the time. It is both a beast and a burden, but also a massive, massive opportunity for us to take something off our plates as educators and have a starting point. One of the things I do like to point out, though, AI is not perfect, and it is not intended to be something that just you type it in and you deliver, and this is absolute perfection. So there may be some things that are not 100% correct. This may just be kind of a jumping off or a starting off point, but maybe you're putting it in and you're thinking, I really don't know what to do with this lesson, or just want to see some other ideas. It can spit out a whole list of different things and ideas to give you a starting point to say, oh, okay, I wasn't thinking about it in that way, or I didn't know that I could do that. Let me plug and play with these different resources and different things that it generates to be able to move forward with that. So I did a little bit of that myself. I looked at kindergarten and I looked at my UBD and I said, okay, I'm going to go into Canvas. I'm going to start with my curriculum first. I went to my curriculum, I went to ELA, and I picked the TEKS, specifically the high frequency words. I was like, okay, I think that I can do something with identifying and reading at least 100 high frequency words from a research-based list. Excellent. Like, this is something that all kids need repetition, all kids need practice with this. How do I take that to the next step? I added in some additional criteria. So I said I wanted to use BBOTs. Full disclosure, Magic School AI doesn't know exactly what BBOTs are. It knows it's a robot because I told it was a robot, but it doesn't necessarily know to what degree I'm able to use that. So it's going to give me some ideas using a robot, but I may have to tailor what that looks like to be exactly what I need. Again, adjust as needed. So this is the lesson that it came out with. Students will be able to identify and read at least 100 high frequency words from a list. They participate in like a scavenger hunt kind of thing. And I was like, oh, okay. So scavenger hunt for me means search and find. So maybe I go from this high frequency word to this high frequency word, or maybe I've got 10 high frequency words that we really, really, really worked on this week. And my partner draws one of those words and I have to drive my BBOT to it. Or maybe I've got the seesaw activity. So what I did was I went into Seesaw and I said, okay, there's all of these already made activities about early literacy, and I would love to just kind of use one of those. So I took it and I tweaked it. I looked at how I can use that in my own classroom. I save the activity. Eventually it logs me in. And then I take a look at, oh, okay, well, with this one, I can analyze the word. I can listen to the word, maybe. So very quietly, she says the word the. And then I can drive, or I can record my BBOT actually driving to the word. So I've got visual as evidence. Can my child identify that word? Can my student identify that word? And then if I want to take it to the next level, I can include other components like listening to the segmented word and then watching them segment the word. And can this word be sounded out by each letter? Maybe I'm taking it to the next level. Maybe I'm just deleting those and I'm modifying and duplicating this slide to add more high frequency words. It's really up to whatever meets the needs of my students in the classroom at this moment in time. But just giving you guys an example of, okay, how can I take some things that are already made and tweak them just a little bit to still match my content, still match my needs, but meet the needs of my kids in my classroom. So that was my kindergarten example. Then I looked at a fourth grade example. So again, I started with my content first. I said, what is the content that I am teaching in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever that looks like? What is coming up for me that's maybe not as engaging, or maybe the content that I'm finding here in my lessons doesn't really match what my kids need in this moment. So I'm going to go to my UBD. I found a TEKS. So for fourth grade math, it was personal financial literacy. The whole unit is like 6 days and it's all vocabulary. And so I'm like, great. Vocabulary lessons are really boring in general. How can I make this more exciting? How can I make this more fun? And so I put distinguish between fixed and variable expenses. And yeah, I did a little bit of Googling for some examples of fixed and variable expenses because I could only think of a couple. Then I took my template that I got started with in Canva. And I searched for pictures and I put some new pictures in there. And now I've got cards that I can lay down on the tiles and drive my robot to. So drive from a fixed expense to a variable expense. Drive from a reversible energy to an irreversible energy. Drive from, and again, I can plug and play with whatever content is coming up for me to be able to see, can my kids go from one thing to the other? Are they using the vocabulary? Do they understand what these pictures represent? And I'm formatively assessing as I'm looking, oh snap, that kid has no idea what we're talking about. They're having fun driving and that's cool and they're engaged. But I can then check in with myself to know, okay, I need to come back and do some additional content work with this student. All right. That's a large chunk of what I have so far, and it was mostly just me talking. So I am curious. I would like y'all to kind of try something with me if you're willing, please. Because it's, 3:41 on a Monday and it rained today. So I am hoping that y'all are willing to share out some upcoming TEKs or upcoming content areas that have maybe not been as engaging as you hope for them to be, or maybe students are not mastering it in the same way that you would hope for them to be mastering it. And we're going to try creating a lesson together. If you're down. Grammar. What about grammar? That's a big topic. Okay. All right. So we'll try this together. You're putting me on the spot. We're putting each other on the spot, right? So Magic School AI is a phenomenal tool. If you've never actually jumped in and used it, it has all the things. So super, 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 super encourage you to try going into Magic School AI. Yes, yes. So Magic School AI, and I just clicked login. If it doesn't automatically log you in, I would recommend logging in with Google. And then I'm going to search in my tools. You can also favorite different things, but I haven't favorited that one yet. So I'm going to search for lesson plan. Perfect. I want to generate a lesson plan. So we'll choose the grade level, second grade, and then the topic that you said, what was it? Subject, verb, agreement. Do you want to use BBOTS or VEX? Which one? BBOTS. All right, I got you. So we will type in using BBOTS, programmable. Did I spell that right? No judgment on the spelling. Programmable robots as an additional criteria. We'll set it to TEKS and we'll see what it does. It's thinking. Ooh, okay. It pulls out all the things. Extension activities, homework. Yes, I love it. Okay, so students will complete a BBOT activity. They program the BBOT to move to a series of cards displaying different sentences, and they determine if it is correct or incorrect. Okay, so in my mind, that's making me think that I have a variety of sentences that are correct and a variety of sentences that are incorrect. So maybe on the screen, I've got like a Google slide that's either red or green. And if it's red, they have to drive to something that's incorrect. Or if it's green, they have to drive to one that's correct. How could I get students more involved in that process? I'm quizzing you from earlier. What could they do to take something off of my plate and to help reinforce the concept? They could make the cards. Yay! Ding, 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 sending you all the things. Like, yes, yes, right? So this is helping them to reinforce and practice that and talk about that skill while they are making, while they are building. And then they get the extra fun of programming to the cards that they already made. So they have the opportunity to do that designing. Maybe they handwrite them. Maybe they do them in Google Slides. Maybe they do them on a Google Doc. Maybe they tell them to you and you type them and print them. There's lots of different ways that you can scaffold and support and make sure it's meeting the needs of those kiddos. But yes, absolutely have them make those different sentences where it agrees and where it doesn't agree. Have them find those different examples. All right, I think I found another one. Oh, yes, they could make them in small groups. There was another one. Ooh, figurative language. Okay. Ooh, let's see. Well, no, I will let the AI magic do its magic before I just jump in with my ideas. We're going to go back. Are you thinking with VEX or with BBots? The person that said figurative language. Ooh, BBots. Okay, so we're doing lesson plan. We're going to change the grade level. What grade level would that be for? Second grade. Perfect. We're already there. All right. So figurative language. Oops. And I'm going to put like including simile and metaphor. Watching me type awkwardly. Thanks, y'all. What's the one where it starts with the same alliteration? I don't know. I can't think of a single other figurative language. Y'all figurative language people, help me out. I can't think of anything else. Lori, what you got? Oh, hyperbole. There you go. Hyperbole. Yes. Similes, metaphors. All I can think of is the song. There's like the superhero song where they're talking about the difference between similes and metaphors. Let's see. Ooh, personification. That's a good one. Mm. Ooh, onomatopoeia. Did you spell it correctly? Because I for sure would have to Google how to spell that. Onomatopoeia. There we go. All right. I Googled. Nice. Same. Same. I love it. All right. So we're going to generate and we'll see what it comes up with. Ooh. Okay. It's thinking. It's doing it. It's doing the thing. Okay. So students create a short poem or story using at least 3 different types of figurative language. Then they share their work. And then the partner has to drive to the examples of figurative language that they see in the person's poem. So again, students are creating, students are doing the work, students are using their content, showing their understanding of what they learned and what they did by doing the writing, by doing the work, maybe even by creating the cards that go underneath the mats. And then they're getting that extra level of engagement, extra level of participation to be able to show that they understand or show that they know. And who should be able to tell them if it's right or wrong? Hopefully not just you. The other kid, right? Like the person that wrote the poem, hopefully, should be able to tell them that no, that's not what that is. It's this. And then they can have those conversations and continue to show their understanding. So I think we've got time for one more. Oh, did she? Oh, okay. An upcoming lesson that you're like, man, this is just not my favorite. Ooh, coins. Yes. Okay, oops, wrong one. We're just going all over the place. First grade, edit prompt. Okay, so we're going with first grade. Are you thinking specifically? So my first grader is a leaper, so I have a distorted view of what a first grader can do. So are you thinking just being able to like identify the coins, or is it like being able to add different coins, or okay, identify and add. All right. So um coins and money, real life situations. Okay, with money. All right, so coins and money, identify and add different amounts of money in real life situations. Yes. All right, let's see what it comes up with. What can we buy with money? Ooh, I love that. It also gives some ideas for like how you could prompt them or start them off, like what conversations you could have. So begin the lesson by, what can we buy with money? So it's giving you some of those questions to help you get started, show a short video clip, introduce the B-bots, budgeting basics, complete a worksheet, boo, simple budget. Ooh, okay. So maybe they have different items that cost different amounts of money. Maybe we're pulling in those pictures and we have like different items that cost different amounts of money. And we've got like a picture of something. I think I have a template in here somewhere. Hold on. Let's see if I can go back. Maybe I put it on here. Nope, not that one. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this one, I want to say it forces a copy, but this one you can either add text or add pictures. So like maybe you've got different things that cost different money. Maybe you're searching for the different pictures of the different coins and putting them there. Or maybe you're adding the picture with some text over it that says how much the item costs. And then if we go back to the lesson, so display the real coins, they're working in pairs, what's the value of money? If I have 2 dimes and a quarter, how much money do I have? Or again, maybe they have a budget of $2 and each of those different items has a value and they have to drive and stay within their budget. So, and your DLS would love to make those cards with you and print them and bring them and do all the things. We would happily come do that with you. You have all been fabulous and troopers. What questions can I answer for you at this time? Lori? Okay. I do see one person that's asking a question, but I'll wait just a second. Let me go to the last little bit. All right. I won't keep you much longer. If you will do me a favor, this survey is super, super quick to fill out, like less than 2 minutes. If you will go to that bit.ly /feedback DLS, and then I will again email you guys with the link to the presentation. Final time, just, plugging the DLS. We would so love to come to help you. We love this. This is like our jam.